Hello and welcome to my video on this conversion that I've done from a Panelview 550 over to the Weintek CMT 3072. The reason for doing this is because the screen on the old Panelview is almost unreadable now. The backlight packed up some years ago and I replaced that with an LED version, but nonetheless the screen has now become almost unreadable. You can get these repaired and you can buy second-hand or refurbished ones, but they all take time, and that means the machine is out of production for a set period of time. So I could replace it with this Weintek HMI. These are very cheap. In fact, the price of this Weintek is not very far removed from buying a genuine backlight from Allen Bradley for these panels. So, you know, you're talking about a few £100 for one of these. In fact, you can buy two of these for less than you can to get a second-hand one of these. So that's my reason for going over to the Weintek. So let's have a look a little bit closer in greater detail. Right, here we are. Here's the old Panelview 550. You can see all these lines on the screen. Makes it very difficult to read. It's not a touch screen. You've got F keys that equate to buttons on the front. So for each function you want to use, you have to press an F key. These days you can use a touch screen, so none of that's really necessary. So let's move over to the Weintek. Well, here's the Weintek panel. It's roughly the same size, a 7-inch screen, roughly the same size hole to fit in the panel as the original 550. It's very slightly smaller, so it easily fitted in. This is just sat on the table, so it's not actually connected to a PLC, so it can't get the information that it requires to display on each page. This is just the opening page. I always put in the name of the program, some details about the type of HMI that it is, and there's a login and log out for operators on here. All these along the bottom it's a touchscreen. These are all the keys to go to other screens. For instance, let's press the setup. That goes to the setup screen. There's no information put in here because it's not actually connected to a machine at the moment. We're going to have a look at the machine in a minute. So let's have a quick look underneath. You've got, on this particular model, there's two Ethernet ports. I'm not using either of those for this application. There's a USB slot, which is very useful for data logging to a flash disk or to a USB stick. And then you've got RS-232 or 485 COM ports here. For this particular application, I'm using RS-232 with the Allen Bradley DF1 protocol, because this screen's going to be connected to an Allen Bradley SLC 550. Well, I was lucky enough for the Panelview 550 to have the SLC 503 PLC program, so I could make a few notes about what does what. I also happen to have the program for the Panelview, which is the software is Panel Builder 32. Now I've got it on my laptop here, so I had all the windows, all the screens of the original HMI, and so I could look up where all these were referenced in the main PLC program. That was a great help. That made it very easy to do. So moving over to the Weintek program, the actual software is called Panel Builder. No, it's not. It's called Easy Builder Pro. So here on my laptop, I've got all the different screens. Nothing on that one. And again, And here's the alarms. I think there was about 48 different alarms for this machine, and so for each item we are looking for information from the PLC. These are the addresses and the data types. I did this in my spare time, so I wasn't under any constraints to get this done quickly, so it did take me probably a couple of weeks to make the program. Let's go and have a look at the machine. Well, here's the screen on the machine. It actually looks better in real life than it does on my mobile phone. So you just have to trust me on that one. The opening screen, again with a log in and log out. So we've got alarms, active alarms, history, on 10 on there at the moment. So what this machine does is it's got a bobbin of cable that is it's a wire that comes into the machine and gets put, a tape put on it, wrapped around the wire. In fact, there's 2 layers of tape. So the bobbin, or a payoff on the machine, you have the minimum diameter that can be on the bobbin, or the reel as they call it on here, and a maximum diameter. And you have the same for a bobbin that collects the final product. It's called the take-up. Anyway, move on to the other screens. This is if you want certain bits of equipment added or not. This is the first, what we call a taper, that winds the tape onto the wire. So just information that's put in is the width of the tape and how much is uncovered when the tape is being wound on there. Thickness of the tape, diameter of the pad that the tape comes on, and all sorts of things like that. So this information comes from a SLC 503. That would be an F register, which is a floating point value, and this is a 16-bit signed register value, or one of the N registers. What else do we have on this? The other taper. The counter here that counts up how many meters have been done in a shift, how fast the machine is running at, its line speed, the revolutions per minute, what the tapers are spinning at, and whether you want to reverse the direction, and all sorts of things like that. And lastly, there's a setup page. In all, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 screens, but the service one has some very special ones just for maintenance, for which we need a password to get into. So that's the display. Well, right, okay, let's have a look at the reverse side of the HMI. As you can see, this is the original hull of the SLC the Panelview 550, and this fitted in quite nicely. I had to make a little blanking plate just to fill up that last bit. See, there was a blanking plate next to the HMI. So the communication is RS-232 DF1 protocol, which is connected down here to this SLC 503. That's the KO, you can't see it, I've got a light on. The original cable is still here, and it is possible to put the original Panelview back in this hole because it's completely backwardly compatible. I made no changes to the PLC program. So there it is, and that's it on the front panel. There's not many controls on the front panel because everything's done through the HMI. Well, that's about it for my little video. I hope some of this is of some interest to you. It does help to have a spare PLC that you can do a bit of experimenting with for communications. Fortunately, I've got lots of old ones. And I have interfaced the Weintek panel with Siemens PLC and Micrologics PLC. So, but they can do hundreds of different types of PLCs. But they don't do the Allen Bradley Micro 830, which is quite annoying, but they do the Micro 820. Anyway, there are lots and lots of YouTube videos on how to program using the Easy Builder Pro program. There's so many YouTubes, it kind of makes life a lot easier to just watch a load of those. I wouldn't say it's an easy program to learn, particularly with the libraries, but it's very flexible. There are macros that you can write your own programs with as well, should you wish, which I have had to do with some PLCs for an error checking system. Yeah, okay, that's it for this one. I'll do another video about another panel next. Bye.